Postman's obviously shielding.
Good afternoon. Welcome everybody to another Kerfuffle showcase. Delighted to have on today Michelle. How are you, Michelle?
Good. Yeah, really good. Really positive.
Well, it is. News just come out. We aren't into full lockdown, are we? We are still allowed to live our lives, which is nice. So that's perfect.
Well, we've got to take about 6 months and see how well behaved we all be.
Yeah, well, we're all going to get blamed for it anyway, aren't we? Somewhere or the other. Michelle, the title today is the new face-to-face virtual viewing, hassle-free, anytime, anywhere. Sounds like a wonderful big boast, but it's a great one to kick off with. So, do you want to just give us a bit of a background? Because of course, USee is a brand new company, isn't it? Exploding onto the scene. So, give us the opportunity. Just give us a bit of background about yourself, and then we'll touch on the business as well.
Yeah, so I started as an estate agent 20 years ago. I was in my teens, so I'm not that old yet. So went way up into branch manager for sales and lettings. So I fully understand the estate agent and lettings world. And then was made redundant, which turned out to be a blessing in disguise during COVID.
So often is. Yeah,
it was. And so happy days for me. And I got approached by the gentleman who designed it, Tim, with this absolute amazing idea that just sort of took my interest and blew me away, because I'd never seen it before. I'd seen everybody using Zoom, Facebook Live, and I wasn't really one of those people that could have got involved in it all. And when I saw the product, I just had to get on board. I had to be involved in it because I could see the real value that it's going to bring, and in the changes of estate agency and how everybody's going to move forwards and utilize it. I had to be involved in it. So USee Homes is here to move everybody with the times and complement everyone.
So if you were having to turn it around on itself, if somebody was coming to pitch it to you as to USee Homes selling it to you, what were the things that would appeal to you straight away about the service?
So for me, it would be how many properties I could show them. Because as a negotiator, one of my main strengths was I could get a lot of people around a lot of houses. So therefore, focusing the buyers on looking at houses through my estate agent and therefore getting the offers and selling them. I know that the property market's really busy and people are selling them, but how many properties are they showing them? Are they looking at 3 or 4 through another agent? Are they only managing to show them in one property? With this, you can show them 10, 15 properties. You can throw that hotspot property in that they wouldn't want to physically go and see. But actually, if you show it to them on this platform, it could be the one that they buy. So for me, it's about utilizing your buyers to focus and build that rapport up with your estate agents so that you would actually buy through them. So for me, it would definitely be reducing the number of viewings, but also increasing the offers from that.
It's great. That's really useful to know. It's always interesting hearing about it, thinking about it from the other side. So give us an overview then from start to finish in terms of how what is the USee Homes proposition essentially?
So the proposition is, it's really hard to describe it until you see it. But in effect, it's like me and you talking now, face to face, rebuilding rapport, having a conversation. It's real and live. And utilizing whatever you currently use, so the 360 video tools that the agents have got, so that me as an agent can show the buyers round, but still have that interaction, the rapport, the conversations, ask the questions. You can zoom in on the kitchen, the wine fridge, but still physically guide them through it. Whereas everybody at the moment's got these amazing videos and guided tours, but you don't know who's seeing them. You don't know when they're seeing them, how long they're seeing them for, and you're not able to get the interaction and the feedback. Whereas we're bringing it all together in one little platform, so it complements everything you're doing, so you can see it in real time and see the reports as well.
So this isn't so much of a sort of a massive pivot of the business as some other solutions out there. This feels much more sort of familiar to many agents, but still getting to all those wonderful sort of remote benefits of the digital proposition. Is that right?
Yeah, definitely. It's just reducing. It reduces costs. It reduces the time spent out of the office. So if you've got a lot of staff that have been put on furlough, or you've had to make staff redundant, you've got some time to focus and still build that rapport up with your clients and show them a volume of houses, anywhere up to about 10, 15, whatever suits you, without spending the whole day out of the office. Obviously, there's no masks involved and it's COVID friendly. So again, you're not putting yourself or your staff at risk. And making sure that you get the feedback. Because sellers also, at the same time, they don't want everyone traipsing through the house, having to clean up, tidy up. And this video that you've spent time producing really shows the best of the property off. So when it gets to a dark, raining evening, they can still come and have a look at it with the husband sat next to them, because husband might be working till 7 o'clock or the kids are running around, and they can focus on actually viewing the property. So when they physically see it in real time, it's like they're having a second or third viewing. You can close the deal.
Excellent. And talk us through the impact you see this will have on a business then. How do you see it transforming some of the businesses? I mean, as it happens, actually, we've just escaped the big tough lockdown that we were all anticipating. But many people were looking to evolve their businesses anyway, weren't they? To keep in touch with the changing times. How do you see that then realistically impacting on the agents today?
I think it'll impact them because it's showing that you care for your business, and it shows that you care for your staff and your clients. But I think also you're going to reduce your carbon footprint, because you're not in and out of your car all the time, reducing fuel costs, reduce your mileage costs. So for businesses, you're reducing your physical costs and monetary value, and your staff will be able to build a better rapport up. So I do feel that it'll add a lot of value for people who, as well, for listings. You can increase your listings because you can still show as many people around homes who aren't on the market and aren't in a position to proceed, who have been there, say, 30 years, and they just want to have a look around a property to see if it's worth them moving. So there's lots of benefits that can be tweaked from an agent's point of view, HMOs, just to increase listings and increase those sales. So it'll add value because you'll be able to reduce cost as well as your time.
Excellent. And so are you able to quantify those kind of savings yet, or is it too early in the day for,
At the moment, we haven't actually. We've got a number of estate agents trialing it, and they are absolutely fantastic agents. We've got a HMO lady local to me who is so clued up. She really just took on board the benefits of it. So we are working on quantifying that for everybody. And as a lot of agents know, it used to be, it might not be post-COVID, but 1 in 12 viewings would lead to an offer. So we're hoping that utilising this platform, it'll reduce it down dramatically. So hopefully we'll be able to get some figures out soon for you all.
Excellent. Well, that'd be really interesting to see. And I take your point there in terms of whilst it is true to say that there's a good percentage now of the country that are, out there ostensibly trying to get back to as close to normal as possible, there's still a very sizable, potentially even majority of the country that are not still in the right place, are they, in terms of that? So a lot of people are talking health over wealth, but they're not really practicing it, if we're honest. This solution does allow you to have the best of both worlds, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I've got clients and friends who have looked at the product, who are buying houses, and they wish their estate agent would have it because they're in the mid-70s. They physically can't walk around 5 houses and spend a day doing it. Whereas this, they'll be able to ask the questions they want to ask. They'll be able to still pot around and zoom into everything. And then they'd narrow it down to the 1 or maybe 2 that they physically view to offer. So I've seen a lot of really positive feedback. And then another statistic came out recently saying that, 9% more in terms of a price, you get 9% better price if somebody has got a video. So let's increase that further. We're getting the best price with your video, your platform, and discussing it in more detail before you physically go. So you know exactly what you're viewing and you're not wasting anyone's time.
Well, that'll be a fantastic stat to stay on top of, won't it? Please do keep us informed on those, because those sell the service by itself. And what do you think? Clearly, there are a lot of streaming services. I say a lot. There's a lot of ways you can kind of do it yourself. There's relatively few. Was it specifically for the estate agency market? But they are out there. How do you see yourselves differentiating yourselves from those?
I think everyone's got a place in the market to suit each estate agent or each industry. But I feel because this is a platform where we can still talk face to face, we can still do the tours and we can see people's reactions, but also increase the volume of viewings without leaving the office. But more importantly, it's the dashboard. So it's not just the actual platform where you can do the face-to-face virtual tours. It's the dashboard behind it. It's the reports that you can tell your sellers or your landlords. Currently, you'd send an email with your particular, I won't use a particular company, but your 360 tour on your video, but you don't know who that is. It's linked somewhere. So-and-so's had it on an email, and the vendors are, so have they viewed it? What do they think? And you've got to communicate with them to do that. Nobody's got time. People are busy. They can't bother giving feedback. Whereas on our dashboard, you can see when they viewed it. You can see they've added it to a wish list. So the agents get notified that information. So you're constantly getting points to go, oh, they are interested. Then you can see actually their physical notes. So you've actually got feedback.
That's a really interesting angle, that, isn't it? The power of that wish list, almost in terms of exposing their real thoughts on a property, isn't it? They are unlikely to click on that unless it, does by definition appeal to them. So to have that transparency there is a really nice key indicator, isn't it?
Yeah, and they can have it all in one place. They can look at it on their phone, their tablet, their laptop, and they can keep referring to the property. So, if Mr. Husband's working or Mrs. is working away and they've not had a chance to sit down, they can both look at the video offline, which therefore links to the property, and the agents can see how long they've looked at the video for. So again, from a training point of view, if you've got young negotiators, because there's not many coming into the industry with a lot of experience, you can see they've looked at it for sort of 2-3 hours and gone, oh my God, we need to phone them. They've obviously looked at it so many times. Why do we need to get an offer out of them? Is there something they particularly want to see constantly? So again, it's about involving it and making sure you train your staff to pick up on the points of where to close the deals.
With your solution, I mean, with some of the other solutions, it feels like you almost have to become a bit of almost a polished presenter to get that across. That's not quite as important, isn't it, with your solution, in terms of it is again all about the property, or much more about the property itself, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. It's about making sure that it's about the property. Yeah, we've all, as estate agents, we're used to talking, we're used to going around houses and guiding them, but we can still do that. We're not going to take that away. This actually just adds and complements it. Using technology nowadays, from a technical point, I'm not technical. I can just about use my Google Home and Google tech things. So for me, this just enhances every point that an estate agent needs to have, so that you can still build that rapport and zoom in on the sections of the houses that you need to go to. But from a buyer and a tenant point of view, it really is highly important that they don't have to waste their time looking at a load of properties that don't suit them.
Yeah, my gut feel after having looked at your proposition is that it very much feels that, I mean, I think it can obviously go across all angles of the marketplace, but a particular niche for the mid to top end of the marketplace. It does have a qualitative feel that makes it feel like that's the natural place for it to start off.
Yeah, I mean, I remember showing a gentleman around on a Sunday in 2008, and I showed him 4 properties, anywhere from sort of 1 million up to 4 million. Yep. He took the whole Sunday up, and he didn't like any of them. And I just thought, imagine if I just sat on this platform. I could have sat at home with a coffee. We could have a really good informal chat, built up a really strong rapport, so I actually could understand what he physically needs to see, if he needs to see that. So it just reduces so much time. Well, in fact, it adds and gives you more time. It doesn't reduce time. It reduces your costs of going out. So
what's interesting there as well, isn't it, is even though you've done your part of the job, you've spent all afternoon with him, regardless of anything, he can't come away with a happy feeling about the whole experience, can he? Nothing down to yourself, in terms of there, but just again, well, that was a wasted afternoon, and unfortunately, it's linked to XYZ estate agent who's happened to send them round there.
Absolutely. And then if you look at the sellers, they've had to get the cleaners in. I mean, these houses, anywhere from 4,000 to 6,000 square feet. The cleaners are in, the owners have had to go out. So for something like that, it's absolutely prime. But again, for, the 2 up, 2 down, they've got kids, they may have animals. You can't just go into them. Tenants may have locked the doors. So again, they might not let you into the property the last 2 months of the tenancy. So again, you're showing the property at the best light so that you can actually get a tenant lined up, ready for the agents as well, ready for the property, so that the owners and landlords don't get any void periods. So that's another angle.
Yeah, reducing the voice, magical. Yes, okay. And talk us through, one thing I'm very conscious of is making sure when we're talking to suppliers that we don't leave out anything that is required to make that solution work. So getting on board with yourself, what would the agent have to have themselves to get the most out of the USee Homes proposition?
So, I mean, we can obviously help in all aspects, but we are looking at anybody who's currently got any video tours. I've got an agent who just uses a 360 camera. So it's a 360 camera or a video tour. It takes seconds to upload.
So something like a Matterport or a giraffe would be okay. Yeah,
360, anything like that. You just literally upload it, or you copy the URL straight onto the dashboard. It takes minutes.
Great. Okay.
Yeah. It's not a hard system to use because I can use it.
Yeah, I always used to use that if I can use it, and the 90% of the industry. So what way?
But so also, we support them. So we do the trainings. It's not just an estate agent comes and that's it. Yeah. We're here to support you all the way through it. I would come if you've got a large team. I will train individually. We can do it remotely, or we can do it actually in branch, COVID friendly.
Okay, so I was going to ask you about the onboarding. So there's two things here, isn't there? There's onboarding in terms of getting used to the proposition itself, and then I suppose how, with each individual tour, what's the process? So you mentioned there, obviously, dependent on the size, obviously you're a new company, you're going to be really throwing a lot of love at, obviously, these companies to make sure they're getting what they want. It looks a really simple system. As I said, I've already had a look at that. But how long just to get set up on things like the dashboard and everything else? How long should an agent sort of set a realistic expectation? Days, weeks, months?
No, not at all. We're talking about an hour. I will also help support the initial setup. That takes me about a minute. So you can literally put your users on. It's not a time consuming. It just depends on how many properties you've got. So if you've got a large number of properties, then you'll need to set time up to upload those properties. Each property probably takes about 2 minutes. So if you've got a negotiator or an admin lady to do that, if not, we will all jump on board to help. It's all done on the
I suppose you're going to be biased, but is your advice to make for the agents to do this on every single property?
Yeah, I don't think you should limit it. I think you should give it open, because how it works on an agent's website is, the button's there. So you can choose a branch, you can choose the properties. So it's not just about driving everybody to your website. When somebody sends a lead through one of the portals, you can actually jump on it straight away. So you can actually do a quick viewing. So it's not just about pre-planned viewings. If someone phones up and wants to view a property now, then they can actually view it straight away. So having everything there just opens the ability to sell and rent quicker.
Excellent. And you see no differential between having this both for some solutions tend to bias sales over lettings because it's too quick moving, but you very much feel that actually this is just as important for the letting side of the business as well.
Absolutely. I think room shares definitely, a lot of people, especially student lets, if you're traveling from sort of London to Edinburgh or from Cheshire to Leeds, you don't always want to take the trip up just to look at a room. With something like this, you can actually choose your room. The costs involved are so minimal for having this product that it shouldn't be an issue at all.
Okay. And how do you see agents actually using it and the value that it's going to add? I mean, is it going to be, fairly standardized, or do you see different ways that agents can be innovative with it?
I think there's loads of ways of doing it. I spoke to an agent and explained how you could actually negotiate offers. You get some people that come in with cheeky offers and you're sort of trying to justify it. Well, let's just pop onto here and have a look at it. Why are you explaining to me that you feel that the kitchen needs remodeling because it's a brand new kitchen? And you can actually really talk to them and negotiate the offer up because you're talking about the property with the property. So I do think there's so many ways, inventories, property management, talking to your landlords. I think there's a lot of different angles that agents could use, which maximizes the return on investment.
Yeah, great. And can an agent use this anywhere? And the same with a buyer?
Yes, an agent can use it anywhere as long as they've got a laptop and or a desktop. Obviously, that's fixed. And a buyer can certainly use it a mobile phone, a laptop, and desktop, and tablet.
Fantastic. And you mentioned the training there. From what I can see, it looks quite a simple, intuitive system to use. Are you anticipating that training would be a one-off, or would you need to have refresher sessions? What would that be?
I think it's up to the individuals. I mean, historically, a lot of estate agents aren't technically minded. Apologies if you are, but I wasn't. So I think sometimes you might need that refresher, but that doesn't mean that we're not going to be here. So I'm here to support, to monitor, to aid any questions. Us and the team will always make sure that we're on hand. So if somebody does forget or they go on holiday and they're just back in holiday mode, we'll show you how to work it and get the maximum out of it for your company.
Okay, and what about the sort of the back end? You've spoke about the dashboard a little bit there. What reporting can it show to sellers and to landlords?
So the reporting side for me is one of the best sections. So apart from what we've discussed already, like the wish list, so that straight away pings an email through to the estate agent saying, you know, John Jones has actually put Acacia Avenue into the wish list. Brilliant. You can tell your sellers. It also tells you when the appointment was, how long they've looked at it for. So if they've gone back constantly to look at the video, it'll show you the duration on the dashboard. So they could have looked at it for an hour, 30 minutes, 30 seconds, but the total duration could be 3 hours. So again, you've got that section of the reporting, and then you can see the notes that the buyers have put in. So a buyer can put a note in saying, really liked it, but third bedroom's too small, having a think about it. And then as an agent, you can also add notes in. So the report side shows you the wish list, the tenant or the buyer's feedback, and it shows you the duration of how long they've looked at the property for offline. So it's just great.
And how accurate is that? Is it? I mean, some of these, I've seen some of the systems that kind of they seem to be a little bit awry to the actual experience. Are you pretty confident that sort of the prediction of how long people have spent on the tool is pretty accurate?
I do, because I've tested it out, and obviously we've done it. I've been testing it out for the last couple of months working for the company. And we can see the results from the back end from testing it ourselves and working closely with the designers who built it all, who were absolutely just on hands and fantastic.
You've been trying to break it then?
Totally. Yeah, me and Tim are really good at breaking it. So Steve's loved it.
I mean, it is the most important thing is it is a completely standalone application. It can work quite happily, can't it? Just working by itself. Do you need it to integrate? Are you talking to other partners about integration? What's the situation there?
Yeah, I mean, certainly it's important for the calendar to integrate, because as an agent myself, I did have to work with so many different softwares that didn't connect, and it was irritating because I forget one. So this actually will connect with your calendar through Outlook and Gmail.
But the important thing, you've got a kind of open view on things, you know, to integrate with other
definitely the CRM systems.
Excellent. And what about, I mean, you're obviously at a fairly exciting stage at the moment. You're looking for these new clients to come on board, obviously really to test it to death with you, obviously give you all that feedback. That's that really nice, exciting place you're back at the moment. Where do you see the product evolving over time?
Sorry, say that again.
Just in terms of what do you have future plans for it, really? Do you see?
No, the future plans are just crazy. There's so many future plans. It will absolutely evolve. I mean, I've said to one estate agent, you know, if there's extras you need, like offer buttons, interested buttons, you know, the system can be evolved constantly. There's nothing that we can't add to it, because the technical guys have advisors of that, and we have got stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. So it's going to evolve to suit, and it might evolve into a full CRM system in the future. There's lots of different options that we can do, but the feedback from the agents and working with the agents is vital to make sure we get the best for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned configuration there. Is it kind of set in stone at the moment because you're just getting it, you're getting it out there, or have you already got some levels of configuration that the agent can use to match it up to their business as closely as possible? Yeah,
absolutely. If there's certain things they want, then we can attempt to do it. I mean, there's certain things that can't be done because social media doesn't allow it. But if it's the parameters have been allowed, then we can talk to the technical guys to adapt it to suit them.
That's good.
Yeah, definitely.
Great. And obviously on the training side of things, does that flow as well into things like the account management side of things? So will you be wanting to have a very hands-on relationship with these agents to see how they're getting on with it, and what you think you can do to improve it for them in the future?
Absolutely. It's also about giving them tips and maximising it. And, one of the main things is that it's industry standard. We want this to make sure that it goes through and everybody uses it. The saying is industry standard. But, yeah, we'll be always there to make sure we give them tips, checking on, we'll have a look at it from the back end and make sure that they're using it correctly. If they're not using it correctly, then I'll suggest a training session or just a quick chat to keep an eye on it. But absolutely, to come through to full account management for as long as it's needed.
And in terms of the actual output of it, one of the options I think you mentioned before, it can put it out there as a URL. So if that's the case, that's going to be pretty easy then to integrate with agents' own websites and to have it in the assets folder on things like Rightmove and the other portals. Is that right? Yes,
I think that we are in discussions with the portals. I'd love to give you some more technical advice, but not going to happen from me. But yeah, we are. It should eventually get to that point. And to put it on top of the website is dead easy because we'll speak to the web designers or whoever deals with the website. It's just I believe it's just a code that goes onto the website like a widget, and it's just really simple and we can do that for everyone. So there's not. And to be honest, all the agents need to do is agree to sign up, and we'll sort it all out for them.
Sounds also simple. Just give us a ring. I know. And let's talk commercials then, Michelle. So what's the commercial model as I suppose at the moment and going forward?
Well, the model is just really for everyone to utilise for a viewing's purpose and discuss for offers, attract listings, and then we're just going to sort of offer the trial as we've got with the Kerfuffle trial and get the feedback to develop it.
Should we deal with that then? So that you've been really kind. Thanks. Obviously, we're always really keen to support new businesses, obviously, jumping up, and you've come back with a really compelling deal. Do you want to just give a bit of an outline around that?
Yeah, so I mean, it's not expensive anyway, but as you can see on the screen that's come up, you get the first 3 months free to upload your properties. Normally, it's £10 a property. So if you are one of the larger agents and you've got 100 properties, it would cost you, £1,000 just to upload them. But we'll give you the first month's free. And then it's only £2 a property a month. So it's less than your coffees. And I'm sure we spend a lot of money.
Take it back to the price of a cappuccino a day and you're doing well, aren't you?
Absolutely. It's less than that because mine's £4 something the other day. So yeah, it is. Yeah, so you can upload all your properties for free for the next 3 months. And then it's just £2 a month per property.
Excellent. Okay. And what's we mentioned the support. You support all elements of that then? So office, branches and everything?
Yeah, definitely. So as it goes onto your website, it'll be split into your branches and all your properties. We'll do training at all the branches. We can do obviously, we can actually train them on the platform through the viewings. If you've got a trainee, an admin, we do all the aspects. I say, working from the industry, I know that a lot of the listers won't want to do this, but we can absolutely make sure that they utilise it as best as possible so that they can maximise it. But yeah, the training is fully available from us.
Great. Okay. Well, you mentioned there at the beginning the kind of the green element of this, the reduction in the carbon footprint. Mm-hmm. Just talk us through that. I mean, it's obvious, I suppose, in terms of if you're not going to have to do viewings, but where do you think that will ultimately get to in terms of green savings?
Well, I think, a lot of people are looking at, the electric cars and, obviously with the P11Ds and the electric cars being free, a lot of companies are getting more company cars of electric. But this also will reduce, there'll be no fuel, fuel costs. Your mileage allowance will go down. And then obviously the wear and tear on everyone's cars. So it'll be less emissions and less time out there affecting the planet. So I think it will be a first port industry standard before you then jump in your car and zoom off to all these properties.
So you haven't got it yet, but pretty soon Greta Thunberg is going to be giving the big thumbs up, and you're not going to have her on your back. I wouldn't want.
God, yeah, we won't go into politics.
So what you're really after then, Michelle, at the moment is you're looking for people to, go into it eyes open there. Clearly there's no commercial outlay there per se to really give this a go if you've been thinking about it. Clearly you've got a really can-do attitude in wanting to work with those companies at the moment. And really we want to get a few trailblazers, I suppose we would call it, on board with yourselves to give you the honest feedback, obviously, of how it's doing at the moment. I can say I've seen it. The quality, it is a really it feels like a really quality product, even though it's obviously, hot out the stables, as it were there. So I encourage everybody to drop you a line. Where can they find you, Michelle? Obviously, they can find you on the landing page on Kerfuffle as well.
They can find me anywhere they want, really, because I've obviously opened out my personal Facebook, Instagram. I'm on LinkedIn. My email and mobile are around. So absolutely. Literally, we'll just do a quick viewing and a demo so you can see the product, and we can take it from there.
I think we've got a video up on the Kerfuffle landing page as well, haven't we, for what you said? So if you want to see a bit more sort of information, we were going to play it here today, didn't we? But the gremlins got to me. As I said, I'm certainly less technical than you. But if you go to the landing page, have a look on the video there, you'll be able to see what Michelle was talking about there. That's absolutely great, Michelle. I think it's it's well needed. A lot of agents are pivoting and changing it. They've obviously all been incredibly busy over the last few months, haven't they? Since we've come out of lockdown. But I think now's the time, as we walk again in the run up to Christmas, to get this really get this into your toolkit before obviously anything else might happen. Yeah,
and we've designed, the gentleman who's designed it, Tim's absolutely thought about every aspect. It's not expensive. You'll spend more on board. I mean, the average property sells so quickly. By the time you've uploaded it, the average viewing is about £40. I mean, it could be even more further south, because obviously I'm up in Cheshire. But if you go and do sort of 10 viewings on a property at £40 a go, that's £400. This costs £2 a property a month.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? Sometimes it takes things like pandemics and that to really kind of shake the tree and make a good hard look at the system and think, well, have we always just been doing that because that's the way it's always been done, and that's not always the not always the most clever way of doing it.
And also, I think as an estate agent, I was probably in the same category. You just do the same thing all the time, and you'd go and see a client, you'd be like, right, what makes you different? Well, it's actually me as an agent, but no, my company's never showed me anything different. They never gave me anything to say, right, I'm better than that company. They all seem to have the same similar. And now everyone's doing these amazing videos. I mean, there's a guy near me, whether I can name names, Ian Story. His videos are the best I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, he does some very special.
He's very good. But also, if he, just adapted this into it, it could reduce cost as well. But, using those videos are really important. But let's change the standards. Let's make it streamlined. Let's give you more time, because everyone's never got enough time. And, make it move forwards.
Well, when I sell another business, I might be able to afford to move out to you in Wilmslow from here in Withington in south of Manchester. But you've got some tremendous properties around you, haven't you? Around there, it's really good. So, in terms of how, just what I was just looking to wind it up, in terms of obviously where they can show it on the websites, I'm assuming obviously essentially they talk to their own web developers, and that defines where the click here for the virtual link is there. Are you going to be kind of advertising these, if you like, on the homepage as well, and really creating a kind of a launching theme about them as well?
Yeah, they can do. I mean, it's all down to the web designers. So, from what I understand from the technical side, this API code can go anywhere on their website. You can actually go on each individual property listing. Yeah. It's just the communication with the web designers. So it depends if your web designers charge you per listing or whether they'll just do it because it takes a couple of minutes. But it's about making sure it fits in with the font, with the colorings for the estate agent, and we can actually put it anywhere. So you can just click on it on the homepage, or you can have it on the homepage, which brings up all the properties and all the branches. So it's all there straight away to click. Or if you wanted to, you can have it on each individual property so they can click to book a viewing straight away or a planned booking.
Fantastic. Okay, Michelle. Well, look, thank you very much for giving us an overview. Great to have you on the website. We're going to look forwards to obviously encouraging any of those early trial ones start giving you some reviews on the website as well. That'll be really interesting to start them sharing their views of you. Thank you very much for coming up with that fantastic deal as well for our Kerfuffle members there. And I encourage everyone drop Michelle a line on the various forums or from the contact us button on the landing page.
Yeah, please do. Come, give me a call. I'm here to help.
Excellent, Michelle. Thank you very much for all your help on it today, and catch up with you soon.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Bye.
Cheers.